A photo showing Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce holding hands has gone viral across social media, quickly becoming one of the most talked about celebrity moments in recent days. The image, which began circulating from an anonymous source, spread rapidly across multiple platforms and immediately sparked global discussion about the nature of their relationship. In the widely shared photo, Taylor Swift is seen walking side by side with Travis Kelce in a public setting, with no visible attempt to avoid attention. The simple act of holding hands became the focal point of public scrutiny, particularly because Swift has long been known for guarding her private life carefully. There was no official statement accompanying the image, yet the absence of clarification only intensified public curiosity. Within hours, search terms such as Taylor Swift Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift holding hands, and Taylor Swift relationship news surged to the top of global trends. Entertainment media outlets worldwide picked up the story, analyzing the image from every possible angle. Some compared the moment to Swift's past relationships, while others focused on the symbolism of such a public display. Observers noted that the body language captured in the photo appeared natural and unforced. Kelce seemed slightly leaned toward Swift, while Swift herself showed no sign of surprise or discomfort. To many fans and commentators, these subtle details suggested a level of comfort and familiarity that goes beyond a casual interaction. The photo quickly became a visual reference point in debates about whether the two are quietly confirming their relationship. Travis Kelce's name soon extended far beyond sports headlines. As a prominent NFL star, his sudden presence in entertainment news created a crossover moment between professional sports and global pop culture. The combination of Swift's massive fan base and Kelce's visibility in American football amplified the reach of the story, drawing attention from audiences who might not normally follow celebrity news. Despite the widespread excitement, skepticism also emerged. Some social media users cautioned against drawing conclusions from a single image, arguing that context matters and that one moment does not define a relationship. This divide in public opinion only fueled further discussion, keeping the photo at the center of online conversations. As speculation grew, neither Taylor Swift nor Travis Kelce issued a public response. Their silence has been interpreted in multiple ways, with some seeing it as intentional restraint and others as a deliberate choice to let the moment speak for itself. Media analysts suggest that this lack of commentary has prolonged the story's lifespan, allowing it to dominate headlines longer than a traditional announcement might have. The viral spread of the image highlights how modern celebrity narratives can be shaped without words. In an era driven by visual content and rapid sharing, a single photograph can redefine public perception and generate massive engagement. The hand-holding moment has become more than a simple snapshot. It has turned into a symbol of how subtle actions can carry significant meaning in the digital age. As of now, the photo of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce remains a trending topic, continuously reshared and debated across platforms. Whether this moment will eventually lead to an official confirmation or remain an unspoken statement is still unknown. What is certain is that one image has captured global attention, proving once again that even the smallest gesture can create a worldwide conversation. As the image continued to circulate, additional context slowly began to emerge from eyewitness accounts and secondary footage shared online. Several bystanders who claimed to be present at the location stated that the interaction between Swift and Kelce appeared relaxed and unguarded. According to these accounts, the two arrived and departed together, engaging casually with people around them while remaining close to one another throughout the outing. These details, though unverified, further intensified public interest and added new layers to the unfolding narrative. Entertainment journalists noted that this moment arrived at a particularly interesting time in Taylor Swift's career. Fresh off a period marked by record-breaking tours, chart dominance, and global media attention, Swift has been navigating one of the most high-profile phases of her professional life. Any glimpse into her personal world is therefore magnified, dissected, and reinterpreted at scale. The viral hand-holding photo did not exist in isolation. It landed in an environment primed for reaction. Industry analysts also pointed out how quickly the story crossed cultural and geographic boundaries. Within hours, the image was being discussed not only in the United States but also across Europe, Asia, and Latin America. International news outlets translated and republished the story, underscoring Swift's status as a truly global figure. Travis Kelce, while primarily known within American sports culture, suddenly found himself introduced to a broader international audience through this association. Social media platforms became real-time laboratories of interpretation. Fans slowed the footage down, cropped the image, zoomed in on facial expressions, and compared timestamps. Some users created timelines linking this moment to previous public appearances, while others compiled side-by-side images suggesting a pattern of increasing openness. Each new post reignited debate, creating a feedback loop that kept the topic trending for days. From a media perspective, the photo also reignited discussion about how celebrity relationships are framed in the digital era. Unlike traditional announcements through interviews or official statements, moments like these rely on implication rather than confirmation. The ambiguity becomes the story. By neither confirming nor denying the speculation, both Swift and Kelce effectively allowed public interpretation to drive engagement, a dynamic increasingly common in contemporary celebrity culture. Public relations experts weighed in, suggesting that such moments can be both risky and powerful. On one hand, silence can invite intrusive speculation. On the other, it can humanize public figures, presenting them not as carefully scripted personas but as individuals sharing ordinary moments. In this case, the simplicity of holding hands stood in stark contrast to the scale of the reaction it produced. Meanwhile, sports media began addressing the story from a different angle. Analysts discussed how Kelce's visibility had expanded beyond the NFL, with some suggesting that the attention could have both positive and distracting effects. While increased recognition can elevate an athlete's brand, it also brings scrutiny into areas of life typically kept separate from professional performance. Kelce himself, however, has maintained a public image of composure, neither engaging with nor deflecting the speculation directly. As days passed, the photo continued to resurface in new contexts. It appeared in opinion pieces, late-night talk show monologues, and trend analyses examining why certain images resonate more deeply than others. Many commentators returned to the same conclusion. The power of the photo lay in its restraint. There was no dramatic gesture, no staged pose, no overt message, just a fleeting moment that felt authentic. For longtime followers of Swift's career, the image sparked reflection on how her relationship with public attention has evolved. Earlier in her career, her personal life often became a focal point of media narratives, sometimes overshadowing her work. In recent years, however, Swift has exerted greater control over her story, choosing when and how much to reveal. This latest moment, intentional or not, fits within that broader pattern of selective visibility. At the same time, the broader public conversation revealed shifting attitudes towards celebrity privacy. While curiosity remains intense, there is also a growing recognition of boundaries. Alongside speculation, many voices called for restraint, emphasizing that a single image should not justify invasive conclusions. This tension between fascination and respect played out across comment sections and discussion threads. As of now, the hand-holding photo continues to function as a reference point rather than a conclusion. It has not been followed by official confirmation, joint appearances, or direct commentary. Instead, it exists as a snapshot suspended in public memory, repeatedly revisited and reinterpreted as new developments arise. What ultimately distinguishes this moment is not just who appears in the photo, but what the reaction reveals about modern media consumption. In a landscape driven by speed, visuals, and emotional connection, a quiet gesture can eclipse louder headlines. The viral spread of this image underscores how audiences are drawn not only to spectacle, but also to perceived authenticity. Whether this moment marks the beginning of a more public chapter or remains a standalone instance is still unclear. For now, the image of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce holding hands stands as a reminder of how quickly narratives can form, and how powerful a single, wordless moment can be in shaping global conversation. As conversations continue to unfold, media outlets began revisiting earlier moments involving both figures, searching for signs that may have been overlooked. Previous sightings, casual mentions in interviews, and indirect references were pulled back into the spotlight, not as definitive proof, but as contextual background that added texture to the story. Each rediscovered detail functioned like a puzzle piece, not completing the picture, but expanding its frame. Digital analytics firms reported sustained engagement levels unusual for a single celebrity image. Unlike fleeting viral moments that spike and disappear within hours, this photo maintained consistent traction across several news cycles. The reason, analysts suggested, was narrative openness. The image did not close a story, it opened one. Readers and viewers were not reacting to a conclusion, but to a question, and questions tend to travel farther. Advertising and branding experts also noted the ripple effects. Mentions of both Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce surged across platforms unrelated to entertainment or sports, including fashion, lifestyle, and marketing commentary. Brands referenced the moment indirectly, using the language of subtlety and connection that mirrored the tone of the image itself. Without either individual endorsing anything, the cultural impact still translated into measurable attention. At the same time, fan communities mobilized at scale. Swift's global fan base dissected the moment with a mix of excitement and caution, while Kelce's supporters approached it from a place of curiosity and pride. The overlap between these groups created a rare intersection, where different online cultures engaged with one another over a shared topic. This crossover dynamic further amplified the story's reach. Media scholars highlighted how the absence of sound or text in the image played a crucial role. In an era saturated with statements, captions, and commentary, silence can feel louder than words. The lack of explanation allowed viewers to project their own interpretations, emotional responses, and expectations onto the image. In effect, the audience became co-authors of the narrative. Questions also arose about intentionality. Was the moment captured by chance, or was it an acceptance of visibility? While no evidence suggested staging, some commentators argued that public figures at this level of fame are always aware of their surroundings. Others countered that constant self-monitoring is unrealistic and that genuine moments can still occur organically. The debate itself became part of the news cycle. As the story matured, its tone subtly shifted. Initial excitement gave way to broader reflection on how relationships, real or perceived, are consumed by the public. Opinion pieces explored the psychological aspect of parasocial interest, examining why audiences feel invested in the personal lives of people they have never met. The hand-holding image became a case study rather than just a headline. Meanwhile, both Swift and Kelce continued with their professional commitments. Swift remained focused on her musical projects and public appearances related to her work, while Kelce carried on with training schedules and team responsibilities. Their lack of visible disruption was noted by commentators as further evidence of composure amid intense scrutiny. Late-night programs and talk shows referenced the moment with humor, but notably avoided definitive claims. Hosts framed the image as a cultural moment rather than gossip, reflecting a broader media shift toward cautious framing. The emphasis was less on declaring a relationship and more on acknowledging public fascination. As days turned into weeks, the photo did not lose relevance. Instead, it settled into the background as a persistent point of reference. Whenever either name trended for unrelated reasons, the image resurfaced, recontextualized within new discussions. Its longevity underscored how certain visuals can embed themselves into the public consciousness. From a historical perspective, the moment joined a lineage of iconic celebrity images that gained significance not because of what was said, but because of what was implied. Like those before it, this photo's power lay in its restraint. It offered no narrative closure, no definitive takeaway, only an invitation to observe. Ultimately, the continued interest in the image of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce holding hands reveals as much about audience behavior as it does about the individuals involved. In a media environment driven by immediacy and interpretation, subtle human gestures can eclipse louder, more deliberate announcements. As of now, the story remains open-ended. No confirmation has been issued, no denial offered. The photo stands alone, unchanged, yet endlessly discussed. Whether it will later be seen as the first public chapter of a relationship or simply a moment magnified by circumstance is a question that remains unanswered. What is clear is that this single image has already achieved something rare. It has sustained attention without escalation, driven conversation without declaration, and demonstrated how, in the modern media landscape, silence and simplicity can carry extraordinary weight. As the discussion continued to ripple outward, researchers who track online behavior began highlighting the unusual emotional tone surrounding the reaction. Unlike typical celebrity rumors that often split audiences into sharp camps, this moment generated a more contemplative response. Many comments reflected curiosity rather than judgment, interest rather than outrage. The hand-holding image appeared to slow the conversation instead of accelerating it into scandal, a contrast that further distinguished it from routine viral content. Cultural commentators observed that the timing of the photo played a significant role in its impact. In a media environment crowded with controversy, rapid news cycles, and constant confrontation, a quiet, human moment felt almost disruptive. The absence of drama created its own form of tension, inviting audiences to lean in rather than react immediately. This subtle shift in tempo kept the story alive without exhausting it. Traditional news organizations gradually adjusted their framing as well. Early headlines emphasized virality and speculation, while later coverage focused on implications and cultural context. Articles explored how public figures navigate visibility, how privacy is negotiated rather than protected outright, and how audiences respond when given ambiguity instead of certainty. The image became a reference point for these broader conversations. Some analysts pointed out that the photo resonated because it aligned with a growing preference for authenticity in public life. Carefully staged appearances and scripted announcements have become increasingly transparent to audiences. In contrast, a moment that appears unplanned, whether it truly was or not, carries a sense of credibility. The hand-holding gesture felt familiar, relatable, and recognizably human, qualities that transcend fame. Within fan communities, the conversation evolved as well. Initial excitement gradually shifted toward reflection, with many emphasizing respect and patience. Rather than demanding answers, a significant portion of the audience expressed willingness to let the moment exist without resolution. This response marked a subtle but meaningful departure from the expectation of constant access to personal details. Media economists also noted the commercial implications of sustained interest without saturation. Because the story did not resolve quickly, it generated consistent engagement over time rather than a single spike. This slower burn allowed outlets to revisit the topic without appearing repetitive, each time adding new angles rather than repeating the same claims. The photo functioned as a renewable source of attention rather than a disposable headline. In parallel, discussions emerged about how gender dynamics influence public interpretation. Observers noted that Swift's actions were analyzed with particular intensity, reflecting long-standing patterns in celebrity coverage. However, many articles also acknowledged how narratives around her personal life have shifted, increasingly framed through the lens of agency rather than scrutiny. The response to this image suggested a gradual recalibration in how such moments are discussed. As weeks progressed, the absence of escalation became its own form of resolution. No follow-up images contradicted the original moment. No statements reframed it. The story neither expanded nor collapsed. Instead, it stabilized, becoming part of the background cultural conversation. This stability allowed for more thoughtful engagement, distancing the moment from fleeting gossip. Academic voices joined the discussion, using the photo as an example in analyses of visual communication. They argued that images with minimal explicit content often generate deeper engagement because they require interpretation. Unlike images that present a clear message, ambiguous visuals invite viewers to participate actively in meaning-making. The hand-holding photo exemplified this dynamic. The continued circulation of the image also highlighted how digital memory functions. Algorithms periodically resurfaced the photo, reintroducing it to new audiences who encountered it without the immediacy of the original moment. Each resurfacing reset the conversation slightly, demonstrating how viral content can persist beyond its initial context. Importantly, the story did not overshadow either individual's professional identity. Coverage consistently returned to their respective careers, acknowledging the moment without allowing it to redefine them entirely. This balance contributed to the story's credibility, positioning it as a notable event rather than a consuming narrative. In the end, the enduring fascination with the image lies in its restraint. It offered no explanation, demanded no conclusion, and resisted simplification. In doing so, it allowed space for interpretation, for discussion, and for reflection. The photo became less about confirming a relationship and more about illustrating how meaning is constructed in the modern media landscape. As attention slowly shifts elsewhere, the image remains archived in public memory, ready to be referenced again if circumstances change. Whether it will gain retrospective significance or remain a standalone moment is uncertain. What is already evident is that its impact did not depend on revelation, but on resonance. The photo of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce holding hands ultimately stands as a reminder that in an era dominated by noise, quiet moments can still command attention. Without words, without explanation, and without resolution, it managed to capture and hold the world's gaze, proving that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that simply pause and let people look. As the image settled into mainstream awareness, its presence began influencing how subsequent celebrity stories were received. Editors and producers referenced the moment internally as an example of how understated visuals can outperform dramatic exclusives. Rather than chasing overt revelations, some outlets leaned into slower, more observational reporting, recognizing that audiences were responding to nuance rather than spectacle. Sociologists studying digital culture pointed out that the reaction reflected a broader shift in how intimacy is perceived online. In earlier eras, celebrity couples often confirmed relationships through formal announcements or orchestrated appearances. In contrast, this moment relied entirely on implication. The hand-holding did not ask for validation. It simply existed, and that quiet confidence resonated deeply with viewers accustomed to constant oversharing. The photo also prompted renewed discussion about surveillance culture. Paparazzi imagery has long been controversial, yet public reaction to this particular photo was notably restrained. Many viewers emphasized that the image felt observational rather than invasive. There was no sense of intrusion into a private space, which may explain why the response skewed toward fascination instead of backlash. As international coverage expanded, regional interpretations added new dimensions. In some markets, the story was framed as a cultural crossover, symbolizing the blending of American sports and global pop music. In others, it was presented as an example of modern celebrity restraint. These differing angles highlighted how a single image can carry multiple meanings depending on cultural context. Digital archivists noted that the photo's metadata, time, location, lighting, was analyzed almost as closely as its subjects. This level of scrutiny underscored how audiences have become increasingly media literate, treating viral content not just as entertainment but as material to be decoded. The act of analysis itself became part of the engagement. As the weeks continued, the image began appearing in retrospectives and trend summaries. It was cited alongside other moments that defined the year's pop culture conversation, not because it delivered answers, but because it sustained curiosity. In rankings of viral moments, it consistently placed high for longevity rather than intensity. Commentators also observed how the moment subtly reframed expectations. Rather than demanding immediate clarity, audiences appeared comfortable with uncertainty. This patience marked a contrast to the rapid cycles of outrage and resolution that often dominate online discourse. The hand-holding image lingered precisely because it did not resolve. In academic circles, the photo was referenced in discussions about semiotics and modern iconography. Scholars argued that its power lay in universality. Holding hands is a gesture understood across cultures, languages, and social boundaries. Stripped of context, it remains meaningful, which allowed the image to travel so effectively across platforms and demographics. Meanwhile, both individuals remained conspicuously focused on their respective work. Coverage repeatedly emphasized that neither career trajectory shifted as a result of the attention. This steadiness reinforced the sense that the moment was incidental rather than defining, further encouraging audiences to view it as authentic rather than performative. As new celebrity stories emerged, comparisons were inevitable. Many commentators noted how few moments achieved the same balance of simplicity and impact, Attempts to replicate the effect often fell flat, reinforcing the idea that such resonance cannot be manufactured easily. The hand-holding image resisted imitation because it was rooted in ordinariness. Over time, the narrative surrounding the photo matured into something quieter. It was no longer framed as breaking news, but as a reference point, a moment that captured attention without demanding it. This evolution mirrored the way audiences themselves moved from excitement to reflection. In the broader media landscape, the image became a subtle reminder of restraint's value. At a time when amplification is often equated with success, this moment demonstrated that understatement can be equally powerful. The lack of commentary, the absence of escalation, and the refusal to define the moment allowed it to breathe. As months pass, the photo's ultimate place in cultural memory remains undecided. It may later be revisited as the first visible chapter of a larger story, or it may stand alone as an isolated moment elevated by timing and perception. Either outcome does not diminish its significance. What the image has already achieved is clarity about one thing: attention does not always require explanation. In a digital world driven by constant narration, the quiet space between certainty and speculation can be the most compelling place to linger. The hand-holding moment between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce continues to exist without conclusion, unchanged yet influential. Its endurance illustrates how modern audiences engage not just with information, but with feeling, implication, and pause. And in that pause, free of declarations, untouched by confirmation, the image remains, reminding the public that sometimes the strongest headlines are written not in words, but in silence.